We've heard about the Great Resignation and the Great Reshuffling of the workforce, but how are you supposed to reimagine yourself and your career? Experts are on the sidelines watching as America reinvents the way we work. No matter which way you phrase it, tsunami of resignations, great reshuffle, great resignation, the normal workplace is no more.
This is not just a short-term issue, although in the short term, we're going to see much more of it. In the long term, I think we're going to see much more fluidity in the way that the workforce will operate.
Homa Barami is watching it all go down and says the next 6 to 9 months will be very telling.
Having said that, I do see long-term, the volatility and the movement of people between jobs will definitely be with us. And the reason for that is that we're seeing much more volatility. We're operating in what I call a VUCA world, volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous.
She wears a lot of hats, and all of those hats work together in her roles. She's an educator and researcher at UC Berkeley's Haas School of Business, and she consults business leaders about people and organization.
In the long term, companies have to rethink how they organize themselves, how they structure teams, how they recruit people, and so on. So a lot of interesting times ahead of us.
Interesting indeed, says Jess Ponce III. He's a media consultant, author, and branding expert who's helping people in Los Angeles and around the world find their words and their professional presence.
I like to look at it as a reimagining. We are reimagining the way that we want to live, and that includes the way that we want to work. We don't want to go back to the way things were in our hearts because we've experienced a reality outside of it.
Which brings us to the next big question of how exactly are you supposed to do that?
So what I recommend is that people make a list, almost like a chart. First of all, what am I doing right now that I really love doing? On the second column, write down the things that you don't enjoy doing.
Then he says, connect the dots to come up with new possibilities for yourself.
People are more confident than they've ever been. And to me, there are two markers to confidence. The first one is to know your subject matter, and the second is its value.
The good thing, he says, is we've all had the past 18 months or so to think about what we want. Now we just need to make it happen carefully.
The first thing is not to react, because any decision that's based on emotion is never going to produce the results you think they are. So pause, sit for a moment, and evaluate what's going on.
And Homa says, while you're evaluating, think like an entrepreneur.
Which means you have to take calculated risks. You have to do a lot of experimentation. You have to be very intentional about your vision for success. You also have to really think about the choices and the trade-offs that you make.
I'm Stephanie Stone, reporting.